Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1 for the news first, where the people come first. I am Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon. Titanic-bound submersible suffered a catastrophic implosion, confirmed killing all 5 on board. Members of the ruling faction request the Premier to solve the Samurdhi issues. Request to conduct the examination of the first year students at the Buddhist and Pali University again. Sri Lanka to take on Oman in their second World Cup qualifier game in Zimbabwe. In your top story this afternoon, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe and First Lady Maitri Wickremesinghe were welcomed to the Elysee Palace in Paris by the French President. The Elysee Palace is the official residence of the President of the French Republic. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe is in Paris, France for the new Global Financial Pact Summit hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. The ruling faction in Sri Lanka has requested the country's Prime Minister to temporarily suspend the Aswasama welfare benefit program over protests against slashing the Samurdhi benefits. Ruling party MP Jagat Kumara has called for the temporary suspension of the Aswasama welfare benefit program, citing that a large number of people who are not qualified for the program have been selected as beneficiaries. Let's take a look at that story one more time. The ruling faction in Sri Lanka has requested the country's Prime Minister to temporarily suspend the Aswasama welfare benefit program over protests against slashing the Samurdhi benefits. Sri Lanka will take on Oman in their second World Cup qualifier game. Let's cross over to the toss and continue with the news.
අයිබෝවන් සුබදාය උදෑසනක්කේ වගේම ජයග්‍රාහී දවසක් දින 4ක විවේකයකින් පසු ශ්‍රී ලංකාව නැවතත් ලෝක කුසලාන ක්‍රිකට් තරඟාවලියේ සුදුසුකම් ලබා ගැනීමේ තරඟමාලාවේ තරඟ බිමට පිවිසෙන දවස. අද ඔමාන කණ්ඩායමට එරෙහිව බුලෙවායෝ කුයින්ස් ක්‍රීඩා සමාජ ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේදී ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම තවත් සුළු මොහොතකින් තරඟ බිමට පිවිසීමට නියමිතව තිබෙනවා. කණ්ඩායම් දෙකටම අතිශය තීරණාත්මක තරඟයක්. ඔබ දන්නවා ඔමාන කණ්ඩායම මීට පෙර සහභාගී වූ තරඟ දිත්වයේම ජය ගනිමින් ප්‍රසාද ලකුණු සටහනේ පෙරමුණේ පසුවන්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම එහි දෙවන ස්ථානයේ පසුවනවා. යම්කිසි හේකින් අද ඔමානයට එරෙහිව ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමට තරඟ ජයග්‍රහණයක් ලබා ගැනීමට හැකියාවක් ලැබුණොත් ප්‍රසාද ලකුණු සටහනේ පෙරමුණ හිමි කරගන්නට ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමට හැකියාව ලැබෙනවා. ඒ නිසාම ඕමානයට වගේම ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමට අතිශය තීරණාත්මක දවසක්, අතිශය තීරණාත්මක තරඟයක් ආරම්භයට පෙරයි මේ ආකාරයෙන් සිරස TV සහ TV1 නාලිකාව තුළින් අපි ඔබව හමුවන්නේ. අද තරඟය ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩකයන් කිහිප දෙනෙකුටම විශේෂිත තරඟයක්. කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස් අපි යනවා තරඟයේ කාසිවා සරුගා බලන අවස්ථාව.
Alongside me, captains Zishan Maksud from Oman, Dasun Shanika from Sri Lanka. It's a Sri Lanka home fixture. Give it a flick. Heads is the call.
It's a tail.
Tail.
What are you going to do? You're going to bowl. You're going to bowl.
Dasun, you've won the toss. Tell us, what are you going to do and why?
We're going to bowl first. Overcast conditions, we used to maximize the conditions.
Did you watch the game here a couple of days ago? It did swing around early for Scotland.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the first 10 overs, it does swings normally, so I expect the same here.
Easy, a comfortable win, shall I say, first up. Confidence inside?
Yeah, of course, we are a confident side, but when you consider Oman, they got a good side and they have won 2 games, so we are not taking them lightly.
There has been a bit of discussion about Chamira. Tell us about your team today.
Chamira is still not fit. We are going with the same team.
All the best today.
Thank you very much.
Zishan, if you'll join me. You're going to have a bat first. Your thoughts on this surface?
Yeah, we can because it's just first hour, first 10 to 15 overs. If we stay there on the pitch, there will be runs.
2 from 2. You win today, you're into the Super 6.
Definitely, we are trying to do that.
Enjoying your cricket?
Definitely right now, so much.
And the word from home, people in Muscat and all around Oman, they're delighted with your performances so far?
Yeah, definitely, they are sending the messages and they are just happy. So they are backing us up. So we are happy to go.
Tell us about your team. Any changes?
No changes. We've been same team.
All the best today. Thank you. Okay, the noose on the middle. Dasun Shanaka won the toss. No surprise. Ball first.
කාසියවාසි දිනාගත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නායක දසුන් ශානක තීරණය කරන්නේ පළමුවෙන් පන්දු යැවීමට ඒ අනුව අඛණ්ඩව 11 වන තරගයයි මේ ආකාරයෙන් කාසියවාසි දිනා ගනිමින් අදාළ නායකයා පළමුවෙන් පන්දු යවන්නට තීරණය කරන්නේ පළමු තරගයට සහභාගී වූ කණ්ඩායමයි ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමේ කිසිදු වෙනසකින් තොරව ආබාධයකට ලක්ව තිබෙන වේගපන්දු යවන ක්‍රීඩක දුෂ්මන්ත චමීරව විවේක ගන්වා තිබෙනවා. ඒ අනුව එක්සත් අරාබි එමිරාජ්‍ය කණ්ඩායම සමග ක්‍රීඩා කර සංචිතයම තමයි අද ඕමානයට එරෙහිව ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම වෙනුවෙන් තරඟ බිමට පිවිසෙන්නේ. කාසියවාසී රුගා බලන්නට පෙරම ඔබට සඳහන් කළේ කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස් අද සහභාගී වන්නේ ඔහුගේ ජාත්‍යන්තර එක්දින දිවියේ 100 වන එක්දින ක්‍රිකට් තරගයට. ඒ අනුව ශ්‍රී ලංකා වෙනුවෙන් ජාත්‍යන්තර එක්දින ක්‍රිකට් තරඟ 100ක් ක්‍රීඩා කර 29 වන ක්‍රීඩකයා ලෙසයි කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස් අද වාර්තා අතරට පිවිසෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම චරිත අසලංක, දිමුත් කරුණාරත්න, පැතුම් නිස්සංක එක්දින පිටියේ ජාත්‍යන්තර එක්දින පිටියේ ලකුණු 16 සීමාවට කරා ළඟාවෙමින් පවතින්නේ. ඔවුන්ට අද තරගය කඩීමක් ලෙස අපිට දක්වන්නට පුළුවන්. විශේෂයෙන් චරිත අසලංකට තවත් අවශ්‍ය ඇත්තේ ලකුණු 46ක් පමණයි. අද දිනේදී ඔහු මෙම ලකුණු සංඛ්‍යාව හඹා යාමට අපිට හැකියාවක් ලැබුණොත් ඔහුට හැකියාවක් ලැබෙනවා ශ්‍රී ලංකාව වෙනුවෙන් අඩුම ඉනිම් සංඛ්‍යාවකින් එක්දින ලකුණු 16 සීමාව පසු කර ක්‍රීඩකයා බවට සම තත්වයේ පසුවන්. මේ ඔබ දකින්නේ අද ක්‍රීඩා කරන ඕමාන සංචිතය. ඔවුන්ගේ කිසිදු වෙනසක් නැහැ. නිමාවටපත් වූ එක්සත් අරාබි එමිරාජ්‍ය කණ්ඩායමට එරෙහිව ක්‍රීඩා කළ සංචිතයම තමයි අද දිනේදී ක්‍රීඩා කරන්නේ. මේ දකින්නේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා සංචිතය පැතුම් නිස්සංක, දිමුත් කරුණාරත්න, කුසල් මෙන්ඩිස්, සදිර සමරවික්‍රම, චරිත අසලංක, ධනංජය ද සිල්වා, වනිදු හසරංග, නායක දසුන් ශානක, මහිෂ් තීක්ෂණ, කසුන් රාජ්‍යද සහ ලහිරු කුමාර අද ඕමානයට එරෙහිව මේ ආකාරයෙන් තරඟ බිමට පිවිසෙනවා. මේ ක්‍රීඩාංගණය තුළ ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායමට එක්දින තරඟ 10ක අත්දැකීම් තිබෙනවා. එම තරඟ 10 අතරින් තරඟ 7ක ජයග්‍රහණය ශ්‍රී ලංකා කණ්ඩායම හිමි කරගෙන තිබෙනවා. සඳහන් කළ යුතු විශේෂම කාරණාව තමයි ජාත්‍යන්තර එක්දින ක්‍රිකට් පිටිය තුළ ඕමානය සහ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව හමුවන පළමු අවස්ථාව මෙයයි. අපි යනවා අද තරගයේ තනතිරු වාර්තාව.
Has been magnificent over the last few days. This morning we've woken up to a cold, freezing and overcast Queen's Sports Club. Right, we'll have a look at the surface and I'll go down. I'm on a length at about the airport end and you can see a fair grass covering. There's a tinge of green to it and underneath, if you look at the surface, it's slightly dull. So probably just a bit of moisture underneath the surface. Other than that, we've seen that Queen's Sports Club has been very good in the afternoons to be able to score runs and I think that's going to be the idea again today. You've seen that the captain has decided to bowl first here and that's no surprises at all. It's because of the pitch, it's because you expect the ball to seam a little bit and probably just slow down as the day progresses today. Over harsh conditions are also supporting the fact that win the toss, bowl first, come in the afternoon, try and knock those runs off.
Well, we expect that.
Welcome back to the news. It was the outcome feared and now confirmed that all 5 passengers on board the submersible Titan have perished. News First, Shania Dadigama reports.
The Titanic-bound submersible that went missing on Sunday with 5 people on board suffered a catastrophic implosion, killing everyone on board. A remotely operated vehicle found the tail cone of the Titan about 1,600 feet away from the bow of the shipwreck.
The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber.
An underwater robot from the Canadian vessel Horizon Arctic located 2 debris fields 1,600 feet off the bow of the Titanic wreckage. 5 major pieces consistent with the Titan were found, including the front end of the pressure hull in one field and other end in the second field. There was no indication that there was any collision with the Titanic itself. The debris is evidence that the submersible likely suffered a catastrophic implosion during its descent to the Titanic on Sunday. An implosion is basically the exact opposite of an explosion. Instead of pressure from within moving outward, you have pressure from outside rushing in. Similar to an explosion, there is unlikely to be much left of the vessel and its cargo. This is a structural simulation of the last moments of the submarine from Argentina. The ARA San Juan disappeared mysteriously in November 2017 en route to Argentina's naval base in Mar del Plata. ARA San Juan imploded and sank in the southern Atlantic Ocean and was located almost exactly 1 year later. Contact was lost with the submersible on Sunday, 1 hour and 45 minutes after it descended towards the Titanic on a tourist voyage. A Navy official says an acoustic anomaly consistent with an implosion was detected shortly after the Titan lost contact with the surface. This official said the information was relayed to the Coast Guard team, which used it to narrow the radius of the search area. The underwater banging noises detected on Tuesday and Wednesday now appear to have no connection. Rescue teams will remain on scene with the underwater robots mapping the debris field, but there is no indication if or when remains will be brought to the surface. Josh Gates, host of the Discovery show Expedition Unknown, was planning to take a trip on Ocean Gate's Titan submersible and film an episode, but ultimately decided against it.
Yeah, we went up to Ocean Gate headquarters in 2021 and worked alongside Stockton and took a ride in Titan, went down on a shakedown dive on the sub to put it through its paces. So this was just a few months before Ocean Gate was going to take its first season of passengers out to Titanic. And, you know, I had a lot of really interesting experiences with Stockton. It was a thrilling experience. Titan was a really novel vehicle. But by the end of the trip, I really just came to the conclusion that this wasn't for me. And I'm not a guy who says no to dangerous things very easily. At the end of the day, the problem with Titan for me was that there is really nothing to benchmark it against. This is a vehicle that is a one-off. There is nothing else that has ever been built like Titan to go down to Titanic. It is unlike any other sub. Every other sub that goes down to these depths has a titanium or steel alloy pressure sphere. Titan was built using carbon fiber.
Ocean Gate has announced that the 5 people on board the missing submersible died. Its CEO, Stockton Rush, Shahzada Dawood, and his son Suleiman Dawood, Hamish Harding, and Paul Henry have died.
A story that we looked at earlier on the bulletin again. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe and First Lady Maitri Wickremesinghe were welcomed by the France President Emmanuel Macron at the Elysee Palace in Paris. The Elysee Palace is the official residence of the President of the French Republic. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe is in Paris, France, for the new Global Financial Pact Summit, hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron.
This was your wife. Thank you very much.
The Samagi Jana Balavagiya says that it will fight for the rights of the people's right to information. MP JC Alawathwala made these remarks during a media briefing in Colombo yesterday.
There is an influence exerted on providing licenses to companies. What they're trying to do now is to influence people's right to information in the country. As a result, we would like to remind the government that we are against this and would take measures to prevent it within Parliament and beyond.
Representatives of the Inter-University Bhikkhu Federation arrived at the Education Ministry yesterday.
The representatives requested that attention must be focused on conducting the examination of the first-year students at the Buddhist and Pali University. We informed the ministry that students cannot attend lectures in person due to certain difficulties. Without making a suitable environment to conduct the examination, they staged it without a proper arrangements. Only a limited number of students have faced the exams. They will have to settle for the general degree after losing the opportunity to do a special degree.
The cabinet paper on allowing Dhamma schools and Sunday schools to avoid 30% of the marks at the GCE ordinary level examination religion question paper was directed to the Ministry of Education.
Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs Vidura Vikramanayaka said that a decision will be taken after submitting the observations and recommendations of the Ministry of Education to the Cabinet. The minister emphasized that it is extremely important to provide religious education in order to raise a disciplined generation. He said that he proposed to the Cabinet to give 60% of the marks given to the religious subject in the ordinary level examination from the schools of the theoretical part and 30% of the practical parts from the Dhamma school.
The first National Symposium on Nitrogen Management 2023 was held in Thalawattugoda.
Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture at the University of Peradeniya, Professor Sarates Kodituaku, Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaravira, Environmental Minister Nazir Ahmed and several other academics took part in the first National Symposium on Nitrogen Management 2023.
Currently my responsibility.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You take care and have a nice day.